what you presented, you look at it, you don't, like this, I don't want to pick black because that means, and it's like, that's me, give me a prettier color. Let's start there, so.
When I did the Sufi work I was working with therapists, and I was struggling with the problem I was in. He had me do all this breathing and movement on the table. And every time he would say, follow that feeling. And it would feel like as if I was beginning to go down a water faucet, and I'd let my body go and my head would be, I'm like, no. And he just said, release. And I went through and it would just be this black space. And I ran into that conditionality of like, well, black's a bad thing. Did I just drop into hell or something? And it's like, no, my heart felt like immense. And all of a sudden I knew everything and everyone. I knew that I was connected to all. Yeah. And after that resonated for a while, it shifted and the whole thing became this rolling gold, which I didn't understand until we did what they call the Latayefs. And they consider, in their view, there's 5 colors, but I've come to understand that all colors are Latayef if you want to tap into them. And we use them as our strength or our tools.
Agreed. But excellent, Dana. Excellent. I'm going to bring in Miriam and Bobby on this one. But Miriam, that song Rise Up, doesn't that reflect on our own journey, I guess? We talk about the darkness and didn't know it was, I don't see more of a, we're looking at all the errors, sin, missing the mark today. And everybody's kind of captured that in their essence. And to get to a tranquil heart, but yet underneath that tranquil heart, what really stirring? So how did Dana's talk, reflect on your journey, Miriam?
So many pieces. I really appreciate the way that Dana is helping us access essence, because we need to fill ourselves with something once we do that heavy releasing. And it's so important to remember that essence tone, like the tones that he was talking about. That's what I've been finding for myself, because it's like it's a healing balm that comes in and soothes the parts of me that are still kind of like, what's happening? It's changing. I'm not sure what's going on, Yeah. And then that comes in and it's like, oh, I can breathe and I can relax. And I feel like that's the whole point of this, is to get to that place where you can just be relaxed, be yourself, dance like you were doing, Dana. I love it. It's just, that's, letting ourselves be natural and true to who we are. That's really the whole purpose of this.
Wow. I love that answer. And, in Bobby's talk, he talked about just be yourself. How many times we've heard that, but we don't always do that. We'll go back to our old nature, and God's calling us to that new born again nature of God's, what we were created in. So, Bobby, how do you reflect on Dana's talk today?
Well, as I've said so many times, Dana's my favorite teacher. His visual and his complete description of things is really wonderful. I capture energy, but he captures everything.
I agree.
So I feel like it was a little PhD.
I have an entomology net. I sweep through the air. I catch all things.
Yeah.
Bring it all in.
Thank you for fleshing everything out for all of our talks, because it was like the perfect finale.
Yeah. That's my Dana.
I'm always amazed too at how, we never, for all of you out there, we have no idea what each person's presenting. We have no clue. We don't review everybody's stuff. We may not even look at their titles. I didn't look at anybody else's title. And yet we tap into the same stream and it was like, boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Every time. It's so beautiful. I also, again, to reiterate what you were saying, Miriam, about your experience of the process and what you realized before and after. I realized I thought I knew how to dance and I was dancing for my ego or dancing for attention. I thought I knew how to cry, but I was crying to avoid or crying to run away. And after that, in looking at all these things, it wasn't that I didn't want to do these things, but I had to find the 3-year-old, the 2-year-old, the 6-month-old that still had that joy of God. And he danced And he cried just to release energy. And I really loved how I can't emphasize enough, while Padre experienced it through his born again experience.
Right.
And thus, whenever Jesus comes to visit him, he releases constantly. So some of us are going to be moving through a variety of different fields and how we're going to do it. Bobby just does it. So he's the magical saint guy. They just take him through it on the street, at any street corner, and go through it there. So there's all sorts of modalities to get there. So
Yeah.
there's no excuse not to try one.
Mm,
That's
wow.
right. Rise up.
These are all my sages today. I love that, as each of you are. So